Happy Topo Chico Thursday. I almost said Wednesday. Happy Topo Chico Wednesday.
What's
Thursday.
in that Topo Chico? Hold that bottle back up. Did you literally go out and say, "Hey, can I find the biggest, ridiculously large bottle of Topo Chico that I can sell?"
I'm gonna be straight up real with you. I went to get one. Well, actually, I was already at the grocery store, and then we used to get our Pellegrino, so I was getting our normal Pellegrino, and then I went to get this one, and they only had this giant bottle. I'm being real.
I'm gonna have to get like the economy Sam's Club sized Topo Chico that just comes in like a big vat. I'm just gonna have it sitting right here. Yeah, I'm gonna have it sitting right here, like a water jug for your office. I'm just gonna have one right here.
Like what in the office? You know, where Michael's going. Yeah. Well, we are back. It's Thursday, which seems like it just
not Wednesday.
Not Wednesday, not Topo Chico Wednesday, because that doesn't make sense. But Topo Chico
Thursday. Okay, I think we lost Zach. So I'll just continue. It is Thursday. You can join us live here every. I'm on which screen am I on? Okay, now I'm full screen. You can join us every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We are live here on the Winject Studios channel, and we talk about marketing. And Zach's back.
I did. You know what? It was the Topo Chico that threw it all off. See, if I had Pellegrino, we wouldn't be in this situation. I don't know what just happened there. Anyways, I'm back. Yes. Yeah, we are back. Thank you guys for joining us today as we go over email automation. I don't know if you said that already or not, Jason, but we are excited to be here. If you have any questions about...
Last week we talked about email in general, right?
Yeah.
And this week is about automation specifically.
Right. So if you have questions, put them in there today. Submit them. We want to hear from you. If you don't see this till afterwards, post your questions there. We do see those, and we will respond to them. Jason, you mentioned it last week about doing maybe like a live Q&A and just have people ask questions and submit questions, and we go that direction. I would really like to do that. That seems like a lot of fun to me.
And then if you're watching now, there's several ways to message us. You can text 843-396-2104. That messages the community. You get involved with updates on what's going on within the Winject Studios community. You can also chat directly here. So however you're watching it, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, and I think maybe LinkedIn, wherever you're watching this live stream, you can message us directly there, and you can engage with the show. And we can see that. You can also message us directly at Jason Marlowe, at Zack Tatum on whatever platform you're on. So,
right.
But yeah, so lots of ways to message us. And yes, we did have a great time last week. I really enjoyed doing like the live feedback. Paul Simic was one of the listeners. He joined. He asked a lot of questions, and I loved it because Zach and I love helping people, right? It's one of the reasons why we do this. The community, it's why we have our business. We love consulting. We love explaining to people how things work, and we love then making it work. So last week we essentially did a live show with Paul, who runs a t-shirt business, and he wanted feedback on his email stuff, and we just kind of walked him through several campaigns to get started. So today we're specifically talking about the automation piece of it, which is kind of like next level when it comes to email.
Exactly. Yeah, we feel very strongly in automation. I think we live in a world nowadays where we're just so busy. I mean, especially if you're a business owner, if you're a podcaster who has a full-time job and also does a side hustle on the side, we're just busy. So we always find ways. Jason and I always try to find ways to automate as much as we can. I suggest that everybody does that. I mean, you can automate your social media accounts, your social media posts. You can.
I think Zach tried to bail out us again. So when Zach comes back, if you're watching the show, I want you to message in and give him a suggestion on a local place where he can find that has better internet than what he has. All kidding aside, I
Shut
think he's
up.
going to be back. There he is. There he's back. He's back.
I don't know what's going on. Whatever. It's happening today. It may happen a couple times today. We do have some technical difficulties on my end, apparently. Anyways, it is what it is.
Anyway,
so
let's
here
go
we
ahead.
are.
Let's dive into it. You got some stats,
I
right?
want to start with some stats because I love stats. I think it drives the point home. I think it is super, super exciting to see some numbers that can drive the point home. So here's what was very surprising to me: that only 51% of companies are using email automation to save time and money. It's only 51%. So it's 49% of people who have a business, who are running a business, who aren't using email automation in any form or fashion. And automated emails get click rates 119% higher than broadcast email. So like an email that you just kind of send out. And sending an automated welcome email series instead of just a single welcome email. So having an actual series like we talked about last week, and we'll go through some of that today, having an actual series of them instead of just one email can increase your revenue by 13%. That's a big deal. 13% in the grand scheme of it is a lot. And then also an automated birthday email offers birthday offers can boost conversion rates by 60% over non-timed emails. So sending out just a simple birthday email offer can boost your conversion rates by 60%. And all of that can be automated.
Are you specifically offering? Are you offering something in the birthday email, or are you just saying happy birthday?
Yeah, you want to you want to have some sort of offer. I mean, I get them. Like, I mean, every time at my birthday, my inbox gets flooded with offers that I do. I mean, I click on them, and I have made purchases. Usually, if it's food related, it's usually the easiest ones to do that with. But there are some that I get from when I bought my Hydro Flask. I get them. I got some on my birthday. When I bought,
Weird flex,
I think it's Indar. I think it's Indar. Leather. I think they sell like the wallets and the leather cases for your phone. I bought that, and every birthday I get that as well. So I get several. Those are just some to name a few. Yeah. But yeah, I think that automation is just a crucial thing for businesses to have and to run. So, Jason, why don't you give us a definition of what email automation is?
Yeah. So I pulled in. I was looking at a bunch of definitions for the show because I thought, well, maybe my definition is not going to be comprehensive enough. But I have my definition that I'll give you in a second, and then I will give you guys a definition that I. I'm not sure what's going on. I think we're back live again. Hold on a second, guys. I think, did we lose everybody or just me?
I was off as well, so I don't. So hey, it's not just me today.
Yeah, it's not just you. I think there might be an issue with the streaming service that we're using. I think that's what we're. Okay, yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out what's going on. So sorry, guys. What I was going to say is I have a definition of automation that I'll go through. I think it's very basic and to the point, but I think MailChimp has probably one of the most comprehensive ones. MailChimp says email automation is a way to create emails that reach the right people with the right message at the right moment without doing the work every time, sending automated messages and leveraging a marketing automation tool. So it's a really long way to say my definition, which is finding ways to remove the manual human element from email communication. So finding ways to be able to remove you manually having to email your customers, right? And whether that is whether that's through, your email provider like MailChimp, or whether you're doing it through your CRM, whatever tool that is, whether it's Zoho or HubSpot or Salesforce, or even using some plugin tools for like your Gmail that can help you automate and things like that. And we can talk about that later. But whatever you're using, it's just finding ways to take a little bit of the load off of yourself and your team, right? So I think we had some comments come in during that weird point. Let's see here. Oh, Paul, who joined us last week, says the companies are the only ones who remember my birthday. Okay, so that's kind of sad. And they're not, Paul, they're not even remembering your birthday. Spoiler alert.
Paul, I'm actually I'm going to wish you a happy birthday. I know it's not your birthday right now, but I'm going to go ahead and wish you a happy birthday now. So when it is your actual birthday, you can use this as I'm wishing you a happy birthday. So happy birthday, Paul.
Right.
What was that one from Chris?
Yeah. He says gift card for food is always a great touch, or coffee. You can buy a sponsor card. And some places will do a trade-off, money off each month. Yeah, so offering a little special offer is a great way to start automation. Paul just says, thank you. I feel loved.
You're welcome, Paul.
That's why we're here, Paul. And Paul, maybe we can work on some automations today for you.
Yeah, this is why we do this, Paul. We do this for you, man.
Yeah, this is Thursday's Live with Jason and Zack featuring Paul.
Only Paul.
Yeah, only Paul. Yeah, Paul gets to ask all the questions.
And of course, Chris.
Of course, Chris. But the whole big point is finding ways to remove that manual human element from your email communications. So the next logical question you probably have is, but why? Like, okay, yeah, of course I want to have less on me, but like, what are the other benefits other than just probably an increase in time, right? So one of the big things is personalization. Automation allows you to increase your personalization. And I know it's kind of like a funny thought, like, okay, a computer will now be taking over these automated processes that I'm sending out. So it's more like impersonal personalization, but it allows you to hit triggers and time-based things that either you normally wouldn't do or normally would just be on somebody to have to manually do. So I used to work at a company years ago, and when customers like their program renewal was coming up, or if their birthday was coming up, or any other touch points were coming up during the year, somebody would have to manually pull open an email template. They would type it out.
Yep.
And they would send them an email, and then like an hour or two later, they pick up the phone and they call them, and they do like X, Y, and Z. And a lot of that can be cut out. And we started to do that at the time. We were like, okay, well, there's no reason to have to manually send this email. And so we had it triggered to where it would send the email out, and then it would email the account rep that the email has been sent. And so like, okay, cool, the email's been sent. Now I can make my phone call. And that takes a chunk of time out of the day where that person can be freed up to do something else. And so it allows a personal touch that can just be automated. So whether it's, birthdays, like we were saying, or policy and like subscription renewals, or if it's recommended suggestions, maybe you have several product lines, and some person's been with product line A for a while and you want to offer product line B. You do a database query and you figure out who those people are, and then you load them in to your automation system, and you start sending it out. So it allows for you to have a nice personal touch point, whether it's based on purchases and member tiers, location, behavior, X, Y, Z. It allows that to be automated, so you're not having to constantly think about, oh, okay, I need to send this to my customer, right?
Well, and the bottom line too is, we just saw that where even just a birthday offer increases conversion rates by 60%. So the personalization, the personal touch that you can offer as many ways as you can to interact with your customer base is going to generate a different feel than most companies. I like that sort of touch. I think that's nice. I mean, some people can find that annoying to, on your birthday, have like a million emails saying happy birthday, happy birthday. But who doesn't want to be like wished happy? I mean, Paul, you know what? Paul wanted to be wished happy birthday. And you know what? I'm gonna say it now. If anybody wants a birthday shout out, if it's your birthday next Thursday, or if you know someone that's gonna be their birthday next Thursday, we'll give them a shout out. We don't mind. We'd love to
Or
do
if you
that.
just really like your birthday and you want to hear it.
Or yeah. It reminds me of a skit I saw one time that was about said something about terrible apps when the iPhone first came out, and it was the app was "Is it your birthday?" And the guy was like, "Here, let me just see if it's your birthday." He goes, "I know it's not my birthday. It's in March. It's May." And he's like, "No, okay, let's just see. Let's just see how accurate the app is." And he was like, "When is your birthday?" He's like, "March 4th." And he's like, "You're right. It is not your birthday. It works great."
Please tell me that somebody has also made that. Okay, I don't know if we lost Zach or not. And I apologize. I apologize again for whatever technical issues we have going. I think it's the actual streaming service right now. So the next piece that we want to talk about the whole why aspect of it is the lead nurturing aspect, right? Oh, where's Zach? Zach is back. Zach,
yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so let us go into lead nurturing. I heard some of that. I don't know what's going on. We're having all kinds of issues here today.
It's a game.
I promise you this will not be the case.
Put in the comments. Who do you think is going to drop next? Me or Zack?
It'll probably be me. Apparently something's going on with my whole computer. Yeah, so what does this say? Oh, happy divorce day. Well, I don't know about that. It depends on if you're like a law firm that does like divorces, I guess. You can offer like
that would be a killer campaign. That would be a killer campaign. Anyway, but yeah, lead nurturing. I know we were talking earlier. You wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, so just having a simple sales, don't make it salesy. Like that's not what I want to say, but people will interact with you if you bring them value. If you're providing them value. So when I say lead nurturing, I'm not saying push a sell, push an offer. What I'm saying is generate personalized stuff. So if you sell, give me a product, Jason. What's something you could sell?
LaCroix.
Okay, so that's a bad one. Let's just say like you're a lawn service, right?
Yeah.
And you are creating an email lead nurturing campaign for people who sign up for something you've given away for free. Basically, you want to push them through not a sales funnel. I don't want to use that word, but push them through an email series that kind of gives them more value. Maybe it's articles you've written. Maybe it's articles that somebody else has written that you follow. What does that say? Maybe have them choose the gift option.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is.
That kind of reminds me of Michael Barber and the Bonobos experience, where you get to, when you sign up for their service, you get to kind of pick how you want your email experience to be. So I definitely like that idea of like the user engagement and getting to actually select how that automation is going to follow.
Well, it's like something
lead nurturing.
So that's something me and Jason, we were, before email automation was really a big thing, when me and Jason had our business, well, we still do have a business, but when we were doing this on the side, we were doing lead nurturing, but we were manually sending these emails out. And it was, I remember telling Jason, I was like, I'm exhausted just by sending these emails out. Yeah. But when I was able to formulate an email campaign just to nurture some of the leads that I've been working on, providing them some articles, providing them some quick tips. Maybe it's an infographic, something to give them more value and say, listen, I was paying attention in our conversation and here's what I can offer you, or whatever it looks like. It basically, by doing email automation, it puts time back in your pocket to work on other things, on your marketing. It takes a little bit of time to kind of get this all set up. But once you get it running, it just runs. We have a client that we have right now that we've done some email automation with it, and we are learning so much about their customer base that he didn't know. He is learning what people are responding to, what people are opening up,
Okay, so if anybody had Zack on their list of who was going to drop next, you win 100 Winject points to be distributed after the show. So just keep a tally, and you get those 100 Winject points. You'll get them later.
So whoever said me is winning dramatically. You know what? Go ahead and just mark me down for all of it. So apparently, I'm the only one being affected. I don't know what's going on today. I apologize. But yeah, I was just saying that it puts more time in your pocket. It takes some time to set it up, but once you set it up, it's going to roll. It's going to go really well. And keep adding to it. I don't think just set it and forget it. Go back and check to see how things are doing. If some of them are producing really well, then you want to maybe replicate that and put some more into your series that you're working on. So before I get dropped again, I'm going to let Jason take over.
Yeah. Your next birthday, Chris is going to gift you better internet service. Yeah, Chris, I would think that it was just Zack, but because I dropped and I don't have any issues. So
I wasn't having issues until we went live. When we went live, this is when I had issues.
Anyway, yeah. So we're talking about the whys. The last big one, I guess, is it's the obvious. It's putting time back in your universe because you're automating and just setting things to just kind of run. And because you have that free time now, and because you are putting those systems in place to automate different functions, you're then able to have a scalable marketing plan, right? So if you're doing it old school, if you're that 49% that Zack was talking about earlier, that's not doing any kind of automation. If you're part of that 49%, yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, yeah, so sorry, I thought you said 41.
Yeah, so if you're part of that 49%, who's just doing it old school, who's manually sending out email follow-ups and birthday emails and newsletter emails, whatever it is you're doing, if you're part of that percentage, you are not able to scale that other than adding more people, right? So I guess technically you could scale it, but okay, I'm having to hire several staff members in order to do that. So if you have automation in place and you have taken the time to set it up, it's removing that manual component, and it allows you to actually have a scalable marketing plan. Oh, we just lost Zack. For everybody who said it was going to be Zack next again, that's 200 Winject community points to be distributed after the show, and also includes a free Topo Chico or LaCroix. It's your choice. Anyway, so we talked about the whys. Now let's talk about actual real applications. And if you're watching this live, feel free to ask any questions like, hey, how can I actually use this for my XYZ type of business? So the first segment we can talk about in like a real world application is let's consider these like time-based things, like time-bound triggers. And those are part of what we were talking about earlier before. So like birthday emails, things like that. But you can also lump in customer feedback. So say you want to have like every 6 months an email that goes out for customers to ask them, how they think you're doing. I forget, that's called a NTS. There's some name for that anyway. But it's usually like a scale of 1 to 10, like how are we doing? If you want to have those go out, like once a year, twice a year, whatever, that can be automated and that data can flow into somewhere else. If you have people who are scheduling time with you, maybe you're a consultant, or if they're going to be maybe like a guest on your show, this would be really great for podcasters. If you've got a show coming up and you schedule guests, you can use the tools like Calendly that you're using already to schedule that stuff and to build an automation series that works back from there, that automates maybe 2 or 3 emails that go out to that person, say, hey, mark your calendar. This is what's going to be on the show. Step 2 is like, hey, these are all the promo materials that you need to talk about the show. So download these templates, pop your stuff in here, and you can use this on your social media. So Zack, I think you were going to say something now that you're back.
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I think any time-based that you can do this goes back to the conversation of personalization, having it being personalized. This is a great way to do that, where you can automate it so much that, like, I like the event-based one because we also have a client that we do that for as well. Who puts on live events, puts on webinars, puts on that sort of stuff, having automation in place so that anybody that registers gets what they need, and then they're pushed through reminders, so they make sure that they're there for those events. So yeah, I think these are great. Time-based one is a really, really good one. I think the next one I would probably mention is trigger-based. So if that's
the big one. Those are the big ones.
Yeah. So time-based and trigger-based are really some of the biggest ones that you hear of. That's when somebody signs up, they sign up to download something off your website, sign up for your newsletter. That's where that welcome series comes in, right? It's triggering them. If they purchase something, maybe they get a special. They put into a special category where now they are given specific offers related to that product, whatever it looks like. This is a really good way to what the welcome series I would consider as a lead nurturing campaign. So this is another way, even if somebody's already in your system, you can trigger it if they're tagged by a certain thing to now offer them certain automations. If you tag them for special events or special purchases they've made, now you can give them specific offers that are related to the things that they've purchased. So you can simultaneously have 5, 6, 7, own up to as many as you want of automations that are running in the background. So that way it's doing the work for you. So I think that's a really strong one. Anything that you can do that's trigger based is a big one. Yeah.
And there's tons of them. So it works best. Trigger based stuff works best when you have some type of CRM to manage the process, to be able to like Zach was saying, if you want to tag things, that's something that's typically going to happen in a CRM, or even MailChimp. MailChimp allows for tagging. So any way that you can have a trigger set up to where it looks at one point and goes, oh, this just happened, I'm going to do this. So it's typically, I'm thinking like when somebody gets added to something. So like somebody signs up for your course or signs up for a membership or buys a product or something like that. Those are big triggers that are causing other things to flow down the line, whether it's an immediate thing or whether it's you tell the systems like, hey, when somebody signs up, boom, add this tag. And so that's your trigger. And then it's like, okay, wait 6 months and send out my customer feedback survey, or wait 6 months and send out a coupon. Call it the 6 month super coupon or whatever. And it's like, hey, thanks so much. You've been part of us for over half a year now. We're so excited, and we wanted to show that we love you so much. So here's your coupon. Whatever it is, you have to think when you're trying to think about automations and how you can scale what your current efforts are beyond just, some basic stuff. It's thinking about like, what are those touch points that happen within the business that I can then use as a trigger point to launch something else. So whether it's finding something where they're signing up and then you're just waiting a certain amount of time, or whether it's time bound and you're just happening at a certain cadence, or whether the trigger is they're already in the system and they've done something else. Maybe they hit a page on your site. If you have a CRM that's in tune to your customer base, whatever it is, if you can find it and you can find that trigger for it, you can make things happen as a result. So that's the really cool thing about email automation is there's really no limit. It's just finding the right triggers and times.
Yeah, I believe also.
Okay. So for those of you who said Zack was going to happen 3 times in a row, you now get an extra 100 WinJack points. So that's 300 WinJack points for everybody who's playing along. Their choice of Topo Chico and LaCroix. And then Zack will then send you a personal birthday message as well. So.
Yep, exactly. If it'll.
So what were you saying? What were you saying? It'll.
I really don't know what's happening.
It's funny because it's true.
What's funny is I just had them switch out some hardware on, and I don't know if that's what's causing the problem or what, but they just switched out some hardware just this week. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, anyway, so the last piece. Sorry, you know what you're gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Okay,
another trigger base you can do is anybody that's not active on your email list or your email platform, whatever it is, you can have a trigger to reactivate them. Same thing with people who are active on your in your database. If they're super active, opening up your emails, clicking through things, that's your VIP. Like, go ahead and give them offers. Send some things where they can share. Give them codes or whatever. If they share this code, they get a discount, or I don't know, whatever you want to do for your business, but or your podcast or whatever it looks like. The people who are most active are the ones that you want to continue to be active, because that's your bread and butter, and you can get more conversions out of them because they are active. So that's all I was going to say.
Yeah, that that was a really good point. When you're looking for triggers, inactivity can be a trigger, right? So that re-engagement automation is a really cool idea. So like, if your system can take a look and go, hey, has somebody been inactive for 6 months? Let's reactivate them. It's like, hey, we haven't seen you around in a while. Like, why haven't you been on the site in 6 months? What the heck? Come back. So that's a great one. So we talked about what it is. We talked about why you should do it. We talked about the different applications, whether it's trigger based or time bound or whatever. So I think the next logical piece of it before we end is just talk about, like, how the heck do I even get started, right? So the biggest thing you're going to need is some way to trigger it. So you're going to need something that triggers the automation, and you're going to need something that like is sending the automation, right? And so the biggest thing that we talked about last week towards the end of the show, so you can go back and listen to that, is we talked about different email providers. So we've already mentioned MailChimp once in the show. There's also Constant Contact. That's one of the old standbys. They have gotten better within the last couple of years. They were pretty terrible for a while. MailChimp is very involved and can be a little bit difficult to kind of understand because they do so much, because they're more than email now. But there's other ones. If you want to get started with something a little bit more simple, check out Flowdesk. Their program is kind of cool because it doesn't have a flexible pricing tier. It's one price no matter how many people you have and no matter how many emails you send, and is that same price forever. And their emails are very straightforward to send.
Yeah, ConvertKit's another good one too. They're kind of like the new kids on the block a little bit. They've been around for a little while, but they're producing a lot of good stuff out there. So those are some really good ones to choose from.
Yeah. So pick your email provider, and then you got to have something that's going to trigger it. So whether that is whether that's something that's happening on your website, or whether that is when customer data enters your CRM, or when it reaches a certain point or something happens inside your CRM, whatever that is, that's going to need the thing that triggers it. Now, the cool part, the part that I get really jazzed about, is the connectivity and what is making these triggers happen. So I would say the very first thing that I actually kind of really worked with was years ago. It was IFTTT, and it says if this then that, right? And it's still around, and it is a way to connect two endpoints that have no connectivity to begin with, right? There's no natural integration between the two, and there's so much now that allows you to do this. The big one that we use as a business essentially daily is Zapier. So Zapier.com. I think you could probably get a free account, and it would allow you to connect up different things to an extent. So, for example,
is it Zapier or Zapier? GIF.
It's Zapier.
Let's hammer that out. Zapier.
It's Zapier.
Topo Chico.
La Croix. Yeah. So so let's talk through a basic scenario of how you could do a basic automation to start with. If you're used to using, say, like MailChimp or Constant Contact, and you have something on your site running, or so say somebody signs up on your site and they fill out a form on your site. You can have that process of filling out a form. You go to Zapier, you connect to your website through Zapier and say, hey, when somebody fills out this specific form, take that data, dump it into MailChimp, and put the tag new customer on it in their list, tag that person with new customer, and then in MailChimp, you would have an email automation setup ready to go that says anytime anybody ever enters my list with the tag new customer, they then for the next month are on a series of 6 emails, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how it works. Now it's technical, but if you're anything like me, it's really fun to try and make these things work together, because there's so many cool pieces of technology out in the world, and so little of it talks to each other organically, because there's so many different languages that people are developing in, and computer languages. But being able to connect all of it, it's pretty amazing. So that is just kind of one basic thing that you would be able to build out a welcome series. So like say somebody signs up on your site for something, they become a new customer, you tag them in the system, and then you have the emails built out in MailChimp. Yeah. So, and there's lots of things that do that, right? There's Zapier, there's IFTTT, there's a new one I was trying recently called 𝗪𝗓𝗪𝗓, Automate.io. If you're using Zoho or any of their suite of products, you can use Zoho Flow. There's lots of stuff out there that'll accomplish what you're doing.
Yeah. And so if you're looking to get started with this, there's a couple questions a couple things you want to think through. First, you want to find out where you and your team spend the most time sending repetitive emails. I worked at a company where we did an audit of all the different departments and all the emails they were sending, and broke them down, because we were realizing that it was affecting so much of our customers were getting so many emails throughout the day that just people quit listening because of so many things that were happening. So go and trim the fat if you can, and if you can automate any of these things, go ahead and automate them as much as you can. The emails are already written. If you're already doing that they're already put together. It's just a matter of putting them in a series that flows well. And then the next thing I would say is think about what you're missing out on sending because you don't have the time or the manpower. Go ahead and think about what you could be doing, what other things you could be offering, what other emails you could be sending, and then figure out if a way you can automate that.
I think the welcome series is really big there. The welcome series is a really great way to start, because companies, if you're in that 49% that's not doing this, I would highly doubt there's anybody out there that is doing a really robust welcome series that's going to increase conversions for whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether you're trying to get people to buy another tier on the course that you're selling, or if you're trying to get people to engage with you on another level. You're falling short because there's nobody out there that's manually sending out like a 6-part welcome series at the same cadence every time, right? There's nobody doing that. So I think that's one of the biggest ways that you could start. By once you get a customer, once you get a lead, you need to put them in some type of automated drip that is going to connect with them, and it's going to automate that engagement process. Lead nurturing is big as well. There's a great kind of process for lead nurturing. Say you get a lead and you talk to them, and they weren't interested, or they just haven't made a sale yet, or they haven't decided to buy your product yet, right? And you already sent them the quote, and they're just like sitting out there. A lot of times it's just going to die on the vine, because you're going to move on and focus on something that the person is engaged and they're as excited as you are about moving forward on this project. But there's a great lead nurture that you can do, and you can do this in your Gmail. Like, you can build out an email and you can schedule it for a certain date. So say you send out a lead, you send out a quote. Yeah, Boomerang will do it. And I think that's there's some other stuff that you can. I think there's a plugin that will help you build templates as well, and you can build templated emails all inside of your Gmail. And so, say you send out a proposal, and maybe you mark on your calendar like, hey, follow up on Thursday. Well, instead of doing that, go ahead and build out your email automation and say have your first email goes out on Thursday, your second email goes out on Monday, and then your third email would go out like, maybe like the next Thursday. And do it in as a lead nurture. So where you're like, it's 2 shares and an ask. So like, hey, I found this great article on our site. I think it's applicable to you. Check it out here. And then the second one would be, I was reviewing a great way to get started with your own website. And the biggest things that people think about are these things here. And these can be like evergreen articles that you're linking people to that can apply to everybody, which is why it's great for automation. Because that's another thing to think about is try not to be too specific with your automation. Make it personalized. So like include their name, include their information in it where possible, but try and use evergreen content. That way it can be used we can use these automations for a long time to come. And then maybe on the third lead nurture, it's like, hey, I sent you the proposal. I'd love to be able to talk. Can I get some time on your calendar for tomorrow? Yeah. So you build these out. So as soon as you send that proposal out, you turn this automation on inside of your Gmail. You're like schedule, and you're done. And you've done all of it really low tech, all within inside of your Gmail. Like you're not having to go to your CRM. You're not having to go to MailChimp or anything like that. So there's lots of ways that you can. Go ahead.
The only problem with that is you're going to have to schedule it for specific people. So you can't do it in bulk. Whereas as email automations through some of these other platforms we're talking about, it'll just be in bulk. So that's the only downside by going through just straight through Gmail. However, if it's one of those things where you're not tech savvy, Boomerang is a really good one. I think you mentioned the other one that would be beneficial and could be another option to say, I can do something with the email automation.
Right. Gotcha. And I think that we've covered a lot of getting started with email automation. You could go on and on with this, but I think the biggest takeaways are to get yourself an email provider if you haven't already. Sign up for like a free account with like Zapier or one of these others, and then literally just sit down and try and look for ways to connect different pieces of your business that are not already connected, because it's going to save you time. Like it's crazy the amount of productivity increase that you can have once you start to automate these things. And especially because most people aren't doing any of this, right? They're not doing like any kind of email outreach or anything. They might be doing like a monthly newsletter, right? That's probably what most companies are doing at the most. And when you think about it, you're like, oh, you know what, I could totally automate this. And you are essentially passively engaging with your audience. And it just makes it, you're going to increase sales. You're going to increase customer happiness. You're going to increase feedback, which will then help your brand and then increase customer happiness all over again. So there's a lot of benefits to automating. It does take time to set up, right? It does take time to set up the automations and the triggers and the integrations. But at the end of the day, you will be spending less time and you will be reaping the benefits. So,
yeah, I agree. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in this week. We apologize again for the technical difficulties. Not sure what was happening, but we will make sure that it's taken care of next week, so that way you guys have a better experience on this call. We do like Thursdays. These are our fun times, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Remember to join the community. You can text us at 843. Is that right? 843? Right. 843 396-2104. I almost said 853, but that's not right. 843. But yeah, we want you to join the community. We have all kinds of awesome stuff that you guys can do as being a part of the WinJet community. So tune in next week, and we will continue the conversation.
See you guys.
This broadcast is brought to you by WinJet Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.